The Sky Empath is a tool which is designed to allow you to get more out of active paranormal communications and make it easier for them to get their messages accurately across. It is specifically tailored to be used during calling out communication sessions. Have you ever been in a situation when you're getting equipment being triggered in response to your questions? Maybe 2 or 3 different devices are seemingly acting as communications medium, and you decide to allocate simple answers like yes or no to help drive the session forward. For example, a temperature sensor and a K2 are both going off in response to questions, so you say temperature is yes, K2 is no. If you're lucky, this works, and then you play a yes-no guessing game, hoping to come up with the right questions to ask. At some point, either you hit a brick wall and are not sure what to ask, or the communication is lost entirely. I've often thought that if I were on the other side of that conversation, how frustrating it must be to be able to actively trigger a device and just hope that the investigator understands what I'm trying to get across. This is where the Empath proposes an answer to that situation. Based on the same sensor environmental algorithms used in the TAD, AeroFlux and MagnoVex, as well as electric field. This tool uses focused question modes and scaled organized responses to allow you to get actual information back whilst they operate it in the same way as environmental equipment. The Empath uses temperature, magnetic field, electric field and air pressure to determine the answers to your calling out. So if they've previously been using devices which measure the same environmental conditions, this should be able to work in a similar way. Using a confirmation protocol, you'll be able to work with the personality you're in communication with to get the message or information they're attempting to impart. So how does this work? How does the person trying to speak to you know how to get the words they want? It's quite simple. The Empath has 4 different communication modes based on reducing most calling out sessions into the following general questions. How are you feeling? Tell me about you. What do I need to know? And closed questions. The responses to those questions are aligned on a scale linked to the different environmental change axis. For example, in the how are you feeling mode, temperature spikes are used to determine a response relating to needs and desires, with cold spots triggering need words and hot spots triggering desire words. The bigger temperature change, the longer the period of the change, the more powerful the word returned. All words in all modes are structured like this, so you can see how they fit together on the word wheels which come with the device. Each word on the wheel actually represents a number of similar words, which are also scaled. Even names, places, directions have all been put into these scales. So if a person trying to communicate to the investigator has been able to use another device, they can experiment with the Empath and keep trying until they hit the word that they were after. This leads to how the Empath is best utilized in the field. There are 3 golden rules I'd advise. Firstly, it's best utilized to be deployed when you're seeing solid communication from another device or another communication method. It could be knocks or bangs. If something is solidly there being able to influence the environment, that's a good step forward. This demonstrates the person you're communicating with is able to control the triggering and has a chance to get the hang of the Empath. Secondly, it's suggested to use another device which the person appears to be familiar with as a way for them to signal they've hit the right word on the Empath. The Empath will produce a scale response on any environmental changes matching the change patterns previously observed on data loggers during paranormal events. So without a way to say, yes, that is the word, you could easily get false positives. Thirdly, it can be easy to be led by the device. Not every word will be the one they're after, and going down a rabbit hole based on the wrong word could certainly frustrate any personalities trying to speak with you. The Empath is a tool which you can develop your skills and hone your calling out, just as they can learn how to hit the right words and tell you they succeeded. You'll notice that someone is trying to get something across to you when you start to see similar word groups. Getting in tune with the person who's trying to converse with you develops naturally while using the Empath, which is why we end up calling it that. What are the communication modes? So first one, how are you feeling? The responses are based on needs, desires, and positive and negative emotions. Tell me about you. There's a lot in this mode. It's about getting information about the person, professions, names, relationships, locations. Some detective work can be needed here. A name that's given to you may not be the personality's name itself. It may be the name of someone they're trying to tell you about. Next mode is what do I need to know? The purpose of this mode is to enable them to pass a message. Either it's to you, to someone else in the building, or someone else in that person's life. It's an opportunity to give a free rein to whoever you're talking to get some information to you. Fourth mode is the closed questions mode. This is your common garden yes, no, but with a twist. Instead of working out if the K2 is yes and the temperature sensor is no, it does the work for you. So you switch to the mode and it asks, show me your yes answer. Then any hits from the 4 different sensors will then lock in that yes answer. It then asks, show me your no answer. And then it looks for another hit from a different axis. So this could be a magnetic field hit. Then when those locked in, it'll then provide a similar scaled response to further hits on those axes. So if you've got a small magnetic hit, it will respond with slightly agree. If there's a big magnetic hit, it could be yes. They choose the subject. Now if you switch on the Empath and don't use the mode button to select your questioning, it will automatically go to this. This mode allows the person who's communicating with you to change to the mode that they want. They can pick.
I want to talk about what's happening now.
They can let you know what they would want to talk about. So hopefully that improves your chance of getting a solid communication. The last mode is an environmental sensor mode. This device has a lot of sensors in it. It's recording them very quickly. You might just want to have the ability to see what's going on in the environment, and it shows you the EMF, the air pressure, the magnetic field shift, and temperature. The bonus here is that the light which flashes on the top acts in the same way as the other Sky devices. So if it sees a temperature spike that's a hot spot, then it will light up red. If it's a cold spot, it'll be blue. If it's air pressure fluctuations, it will go amber. So using the Empath, you actually have several bits of kit in one. In the environmental sensor mode, the plus and the minus buttons allow you to change between Celsius and Fahrenheit. And that setting you put on there saves on the device, so you don't have to do that again if you want to switch over to Fahrenheit permanently. The Empath has 3 control buttons with multiple functions. This button allows you to either scroll through the responses you've got down the list or reduce the volume if you hold it down. This one allows you to cycle through modes, where this one scrolls up the list if you press it, or increase the volume if you hold it down. Whilst running, the device can hold up to 100 words in its memory. You can scroll up and down through those. If you change modes, it doesn't wipe that list, so you can then continue your questioning session without losing information you've already captured. The Empath uses a 9-volt battery, but the compartment is built to allow you to actually put 2 in there, which then doubles your runtime of the device. We've had a lot of great feedback from people trying these out in the field. If you ever happen to be using one, I'd always love to hear how you've been getting on. Thanks for watching.